Read 1 through 3, 1 verse 1 through 3.
And on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went forth from the ark and built an altar on that mountain. And he made atonement for the earth and took a kid and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth. For everything that had been on it had been destroyed, save those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat thereof on the altar. And he took an ox and a goat and the sheep and kids and salt and turtle dove and the young of a dove, and placed a burnt sacrifice on the altar and poured thereon an offering mingled with oil, sprinkled wine, and stewed frankincense over everything, and caused a goodly savior to arise, acceptable before the Lamb.
Con. So yeah, before the Most High. So yeah, so the Most High, like, the sweet smelling savior, that savor that, it goes up to the heavens. All right, so just showing that Noah, uh, and this is just one part. We're gonna drop down to verse 17, but showing that uh, he took the fat and put it on the altar, and that's what he was sacrificing to the Most High after uh, he went from the ark. Yes, yeah, after he went from the ark. Okay, so hold on real quick. Let me show y'all something. Okay, so we got these two images right here. Noah, the catacombs. This is Noah. Can y'all see that?
Uh,
All right, so yeah, the fresco, Noah's Ark, and the catacombs. All right, so this is what we see. But yeah, yet when we can type in Noah right now on Google, and we're not gonna see this. We're gonna see a lie. You know what I'm saying? But this is showing you that it's uh, lies have been taught. And even adding, this is a side note, but just going into the Pentecost. Yeah, because I was thinking about Pentecost meaning 50, because you got the Christian, or the what denomination is that? Yeah, just Pentecost. Yeah, it's just Pentecost. But yeah, it just means 50. So you're saying you're 50. You know what I'm saying? Your religion means 50, but the Pentecost just means 50. You know what I'm saying? So
50 days from the
yeah, 50 days from,
days
yeah,
from
from
leavened bread.
exactly. So that's what they calling themselves, but they don't keep the first fruits, or the Pentecost. So, but yeah, just wanted to show Noah, and this the other one. See woolly hair. You know, so Noah saved by the wood of the ark right there. So, um, all right. So, and it just also to show that it was in the 3rd month, because you have some people too as well. Some say that this should be kept in the 4th month, or more closer to summer. But it was clear that it was like just before summer. But we see here that the new moon on the 3rd month, so which is Savan when you read. Um, let's get real quick. This is Esther 8 and 9. But it's just this point right here. It says, "Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan." All right, so that's what the 3rd month was. All right, so let's drop down to verse 17.
Verse 17, for this reason it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. And this whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation to the days of Noah, 26 Jubilees and 5 weeks of years.
You could you
13,
could just read and Noah and Noah.
and Noah and his sons observed it for 7 Jubilees and 1 week of years till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they eat blood. But Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it up to this day. In thy days, the children of Israel forgot it until he celebrated it anew on this mountain.
Yeah. All right. So just an overview. Y'all can read it on your own. Chapter 6, but basically the covenant that we wouldn't eat any blood or anything. So that's what it's talking about when you read the verses above that, which was talking about Noah and his sons when they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh, similar to what it says, I believe, in Genesis the 6th chapter. So you can link those two up. But yeah, we had not kept this feast until it was anew on this mountain. Because so when Moses had brought it back to us, the understanding of it, that's when we started keeping it again. All right. Yeah. You was on 20.
Uh, yeah, 20. And do thou command the children of Israel to observe this festival in all generations for a commandment unto them. 1 day in the year in this month they shall celebrate this festival. For it is the feast of weeks and feast of first fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it celebrated. For I have written in the book of the first law, and that which I have written for thee, that thou should celebrate it in its season, 1 day in the year, and I explained to thee its sacrifices, that the children of Israel should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generation in this month, 1 day in every year. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month, and the new moon of the remembrance, and the day of the season in the division of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever.
All right. So we know, and that's how we show that the Bible is accurate because we have those months represent the four seasons. So we have spring, summer, fall, and then we have winter. So that's when the first what happens in the first month we have spring, which is the Passover. That's the beginning. Around that time, the fourth month will be around spring or summer, which is like that June July time, and then we have fall, which is during the time where we have our tabernacles. Like September, October, and then the 10th, 11th. That's still winter. You know what I'm saying? Because we what do we keep there? Hanukkah. So that's kind of just showing the science of the scriptures as well. All right. So
So, Lakia.
yeah, you got something, Mike?
Yeah. So, a quick question for those who's listening: how many Sabbaths do we count from unleavened bread to their till feast of fruit, first fruits? How many Sabbaths?
I think you on. Oh, you not on the. So yeah,
Who yelled it out?
7.
7. Count.
Yeah,
Count.
7. Yeah. So we gonna go into that. Yeah. So um, let's read Leviticus 23 and 9.
15.
Or let's start at 10.
Count. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you on the morrow after the Sabbath. The priest shall wave it.
All right. So this is where like it's a lot of controversy on what we call the Omer count, and that's the count of going to the 50 days. Some say that the count was after the Sabbath of because remember we had the 14th day was Passover, and then the 15th was the first day of unleavened bread. But remember that was a Sabbath, and then the seventh day was a Sabbath. So you have some that teach that the Sabbath, the final after the seventh Sabbath, then you count. But through my research and what I've seen and things like that, I believe that it was more so during the week of unleavened bread, which would have been the 16th, which I'm gonna show right now. Um, Let me see. Let me get this. So the sheaf, but as far as the sheaf, so the sheaf was raised by the, this is what a sheaf is. Um, was raised by the priest, to give that to the Most High before we touch anything. All right. So all right. So this is from the Josephus. Um, and I'm gonna just read this part right here. But it says on the second day. Y'all can see this.
Con.
Okay. It says, but on the second day of unleavened bread, which is the 16th day of the month, they first partake of the fruits of the earth, for before that day they do not touch them. Because so we weren't supposed to touch anything prior to that day until the priest would raise the sheaf in the altar to be accepted of the Most High. So but it's just the point is just showing that it says that Josephus confirms that it was the 16th day and not well probably would be the 22nd day of the first month, which because remember is fit from the 14th to the 21st day is the whole thing of Passover. But he's saying it was on the 16th day that the priest waved the sheaf, because prior to that then we didn't eat anything of the corn or anything, and I'm gonna further show that. All right, so and then I'm gonna drop down, or actually, I'll keep reading. It says, and while they suppose it proper to honor the Most High, from whom they obtain this plentiful provision, in the first place they offer the first fruits of their barley, and that in the manner following. All right. So, and then dropping down to, it says 252, it says, when a week of weeks has passed over after this sacrifice, which weeks contain 40 and 9 days on the 50th day, which is Pentecost. All right. So, yeah, just to confirm that it was on the 16th of that Passover week. All right. So, something similar like this to make it understand. All right, so you see the 14th, and then the 15th is that Sabbath, and then the 16th is your first fruits during the rest of the unleavened bread week. All right, so and this is Philo. This is 162. It says there is also a festival on the day on the Paschal feast, which exceeds the first day, okay, which is the first day of that Sabbath, or the first day of the unleavened bread, and this is named the sheaf from what takes place on it. For the sheaf is brought to the altar as a first fruit, both of the country which the nation has received for its own, and also of the whole land. All right, so that's just to further show um, what it's talking about. But let's get it in the scriptures. All right. Read verse 10, Joshua 5 and 10.
And the children of Israel encamped in Galilee and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened bread, unleavened cakes, and parched corn in the same self day. And in the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna anymore, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year.
Okay. All right. And because we know that we ate of the old corn of the land. Why? Because we hadn't raised the sheaf up and give and have the fruits accepted by the Most High yet. So we ate of the old stuff of the land before we ate the new stuff. Okay, and some people might be like, well, why would the Most High allow us to um, do the sheaf during the Passover week if we couldn't eat the bread? But people act like we didn't have a bunch of unleavened bread. It says we had unleavened cake. So you mean to tell me we couldn't have bread with us? We're waiting for the sheaf. No, we could still have that bread that we were eating prior to the priest raising up the sheaf. You know what I'm saying? But this is another cut that I believe that it says on during the Passover, the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and purged corn because we ate of that old corn. But this is also another what the scholars say. Um, Hold on. All right, this is what the scholars say. But it says, on the morrow after the Passover, these words denote in Numbers 33 and 3 the 15th Nisan, but must here apparently mean the 16th, for the Israelites could not lawfully eat of the new grain until the first fruits of it had been presented, and this was done on the morrow after the Sabbath. Okay, i.e., the morrow after the first day of unleavened bread, okay, which was the 15th, which was to be observed as a Sabbath and is therefore so called. All right, so that's kind of just an understanding of how you would count, uh, how you would count your feast, your first fruits, or to get to your 50 days. So you would count uh, on the 16th, you count 7 days, and then from there another seven, and then the one over is 50. All right. So verse 11.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And he shall offer that day when he waved the sheaf, and he lamb without blemish for the first year of a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2 tenths deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for sweet savor, and the drink offering thereof shall be wine. It should be of wine, the fourth part of an hin.
So yeah, keep going on.
So anybody know what a hin is? For those out there,
a measurement, but I don't know how much.
It's like a liquid. Oh. It's like a drink.
What was the name of it again, Salakia?
Hin.
Like a hen.
Yeah. H-I-N.
Okay, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was
that? 14.
14. And he shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears until the same Sabbath day that you have brought an offering unto your Most High. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
Yeah. So again, going back to what we read in Joshua, Joshua 5, that we we had the old corn. So it says, "Ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears until the same day." So after the sheaf had been raised. And also, forgot to add. So this is to further show one last thing. Um, so in Leviticus 26 in the Septuagint, which is the Septuagint is prior to the King James. Um, but here it makes it clear that it says the first day. So right here, verse 11. So Leviticus 23 and 11, it says, "And he shall lift up the sheaf before the Most High to be accepted for you on the morrow of the first day. The sheaf or the priest shall lift it up." All right. So when we went here, on the morrow after the Sabbath. So the morrow after the Sabbath, which we already established, had to be the 15th, which was the Sabbath and which was the first day of the unleavened bread. But the our forefathers must have known that when they put the Septuagint together, or the Israelites, that this is the Greek Septuagint. All right, so they knew that on the morrow of the first day, it didn't say something else. You know what I'm saying? So the first day had to represent that of um, the 15th. All right, so let's see, verse 15.
And he shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that he brought the